Good morning, welcome to this morning's Outlook. Okay, I start in the morning with the question that I posed on the headline here. Now, I read last night that Forex from Forex Live, one of the Forex Live authors, he's suggesting he's spoken to analysts at a trading bank who he cannot name, probably because he's getting information from them. I don't know how good this is when people can't name things like this. Anyway, he's suggesting that they've suggested that the dollar could fall 20% over this year. Now, over the year is a long-term outlook, I guess. They're putting this down to bigger fiscal stimulus that's likely to happen now Joe Biden's got control of both houses. The hedging of the dollar-dominated assets and also asset rotation. So okay, I read that last night, but I had been reading and watching this carefully in terms of ING Research, which is a good research company out there. Now they've been suggesting the dollar's suffering at the moment, okay, with Biden policies, and on the basis of that potentially coming through, the euro's actually benefiting from flows from Asia, so they're rebalancing their FX reserves, and they're looking at numbers of sort of around the 125 area on the euro before we see any sort of corrections on this. But we'll see how things go from there. But there we go. I thought I'd just give you that. Can this happen? Well, I think as ever, I think we should be looking at what the technicals are actually showing us to a degree, although the fundamentals may drive force what the technicals are showing us. But either way, I'm going to start off looking here then at the euro, where we're sitting at the moment. Now you've got to remember the euro also, it's benefited. In fact, I've just got to do something I don't normally. I've got a gap in data here on this dailies. Let's just see if it's okay. I can see it through the rest of the time frame. That's fine. It's been pitched up. It was actually high yesterday. We haven't broken that yesterday's highs. It's yesterday's candles just missing off the dailies there on the euro. Let's just come out a little bit further though and just come through to the weekly, monthly views, and this is the monthly view I'm looking at the moment. The euro's gained a lot against the US dollar. Now over the last few months it's gained pretty well. It's not back to where it has been, and certainly far from the sort of record levels it was at. So that's one thing. The other thing is the euro hasn't necessarily gained so well against its peers, its other peers. So it's done well against the dollar, hasn't done so well against some of the other pairings. So it's not outdoing itself, but it is a major currency. And for balancing of risk, I can understand the flows may continue in that direction, particularly when the Fed have already said they're not going to be cutting. Increasing interest rates, or even looking at interest rates for a long time yet. So hey, just a bit background on that and the potential, I guess, for the euro over the longer period. Now it doesn't mean to say we won't get retracements in all of this. We've seen retracements previously in months, prior months here, so there could be scope for some retracements, but however at the moment it has looked pretty strong. Okay, so this morning just coming off a little bit since the close yesterday. It's come off a little bit this morning. Lower high potential. We saw this. We've seen this with a pound with the sort of lower high potential coming through. Certainly at this stage, it's got lower high and breaking down. Lots of things happen post 8 o'clock, and I tend to wait until post 8 o'clock for my trades. But we'll see what happens here. As I said, it's shaping up. Well, is this bull flag or is this a rollover? That's the question. Now for me this morning, if it breaks the highs here across the trend line across there, that to me would look quite bullish again. So that's really what I'm looking at there with the euro. Otherwise, well, maybe we'll see a further correction to the downside, but at the moment in the bigger picture, even with that move back yesterday, the overall situation, it did that all in one move there. You could argue we've still got a series of higher lows kicking through here, more significant higher lows kicking through here. We'll see how it pushes through, but at the moment I'm erring on the more bullish side on the euro. The pound, well, this is still in a bullish trend on the bigger picture here, but again we've seen a bit of a correction. I've got all the data here, which is good. I'm still looking at the potential for it to come back to that weekly pivot. We've seen different factors going on with the pound here. I think in the longer term it may stretch its legs a little bit and start doing something more, but at the moment things were pretty much priced in. I did expect after Brexit to see a sell on the news, but it's not really happened so far. We may still see it occur, but it's almost too late for that to happen now. And it's really, when you look at this week as a whole, it's a 4-hourly. Yep, we took a sell-off in the beginning of the week there, but it's pretty much consolidating where it is at the moment. On the bigger scheme of things, when you've got consolidation around highs, you'd expect it to push up. What we did do yesterday, though, and it's given me a question mark over the pound, is we confirmed the lower high in on this sort of 4-hour time frame. So with this low coming in, just pitching below the prior low, that confirms this as a lower high. Now, it isn't to say we won't go back up there, but it has changed the position on this somewhat. So again, choppiness on the pound there. Sorry, come back on that for a second. From a daily point of view, looking at trading this morning, maybe if it breaks the highs, my preference is still to be on the long side on the pound, ideally, but it's probably a bit more mixed now with the way it is in the chop. But it has been close to these prior lows over here. It's sort of sitting around this area and taking a bit of a bounce at the moment. Maybe if it can break back above its 60-minute 50, it becomes a bit more bullish, and we've got a chance of running into yesterday's highs. Maybe more, but certainly looking towards those yesterday's highs, if not sort of 36.56 area. Okay, that's the pound. The yen, just come out to dailies. Now the yen is it hasn't shown it, sorry, on here again, it's got a candle missing. I needed to refresh this morning, I didn't, and it's been pushing up here, and it's solidly pushing up at the moment, and we're seeing it. You see it on the 4-hourly better here. We're not quite up to the highs we saw yesterday, but we are seeing this softening. In fact, the dollar at the moment is the strongest against all the majors out there, so we've seen some sort of dollar strength coming through. Now we are seeing this sort of unloading of the yen at this stage. And it was showing before the sort of a bigger move that we saw. There was weakness coming through earlier on the yen yesterday, and then it got a bit more of a surge later in this sort of 4-hour period. But we have seen this sort of movement going off. There we go. It was running a bit earlier, and then when the others moved, it just went even easier, and it's been pushing up. It's pretty much doing the same at the moment, and this is the sort of the question mark I have over maybe the dollar strength weakness here. Maybe it's just an underlying sign that there might be some dollar strength coming back into these markets, but it could just be, say, rebalancing coming through in the earlier part of the year here. Aussie dollar. The Aussie dollar's done pretty well yesterday, pushed into some near-term highs. It's closing in on its monthly 100. I'd watch out for that sort of level, and then the sort of the 0.8 area would be quite key. The whole number there, traders will be watching that, but at the moment it's having a bit of a retrace this morning, coming off slightly. Not a divergence or anything at this part. It was diverging into yesterday's there, and corrected itself, but pushed up almost as back as high this morning. Well, at the moment looking a little bit softer, but once again a break of the sort of trend here across the highs there to the upside. Could see it pushing back towards yesterday's highs, maybe even as far as the R1. It is looking softer, and I mean, we're seeing with the pound and like the Aussie here, just this sort of consolidation sort of move here. It just may be after having such a push up, it is consolidating a little bit more, saying that it was not done too bad through the beginning of this year, has it? Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar sold off then. The pound, sorry, should say US dollar stroke Canadian dollar sold off here, and well, we're pretty much heading south. I'm always a bit wary of the Canadian dollar to a point. I mean, yesterday it had a bit of divergence. Looked like it was going to get a good shove up there and just sort of just consolidated now. You just look at it sideways here, it's quite a mess. Intraday trading, this isn't for me. Swing basis, may still have further downside, but not from here probably. Probably if you've been swing trading it, maybe as it running into yesterday's 50 MA or something like that, it might have been a bit of a play, but it's too messy at the moment. It looks like, well, perhaps the dollar's going to gain this morning, but we'll see how it goes. It's always a game of two halves, these markets, when they do push too strongly one way early. Okay, New Zealand dollar, just looking at this briefly, it's been pushing up strongly there, continued its route, consolidating though on the 4-hourly here, so more consolidation. This was performing pretty well yesterday morning, then the Aussie dollar took over, but again, this one looks like it could see a break this morning at some stage of this trend line. That will, I say this trend line, the trend line running across those highs there. So overall, I'm sort of looking at these markets thinking, well, we've got some potential upside on a lot of them. The dollar weakness may continue. Okay, that is showing technically at this moment. Right, so let's look at a couple of other markets. Bitcoin, I'm going to switch, just quickly look through here because we're seeing this sort of move. Oh, actually, before I do that, whilst that's loading, I'm just going to be pressing on gold here and looking at gold. Gold yesterday gave back a hell of a lot. It's one of its biggest down days for some time there, but again, it's looking this morning, well, late evening there into this morning, looking like it may catch a bit more of a bounce. However, massively convincing, struggling where it sits at the moment, maybe a bit more bullish if it breaks these little highs there, but it looks like a bit of a pipe top. It's quite often seen as a bit of a weak signal, pushed up on one bar, pulled right the way back on the other. So at the moment it's looking a little bit soft, maybe just an ABC correction, although C wave should be bigger, but looking a bit iffy, gold at the moment. Okay, let's just move it. I'm just going to pop you onto this charting package here for a second. Actually, I was talking about Ripple yesterday. It looks like some other people got the same idea of buying into Ripple, and it has started its move up there. Bitcoin yesterday just carried on gaining, and this is a sort of sign of where there's doubt in these markets. You're seeing money run into an alternative source at the moment, and Bitcoin seems to be that alternative source, running up as high as nearly, was it just short of $38,000 there, if you're comparing it to the US dollar, so $38,000. So strong old move for Bitcoin, and this is where we're starting to see some of these moves. Some traders are moving in and taking advantage of any uncertainty, and again, Ethereum, again, good solid move. So as suspected, these cryptocurrencies are benefiting. The major cryptocurrencies are certainly benefiting from any indecision or any doubt that's coming through in this, particularly with the US dollar. Okay, looking elsewhere then, a quick look at oil. I hadn't seen yesterday when I was talking about this, the Saudi government had said they would drop a thousand barrels a million barrels a day. I can't remember what it was now. I think 1 million barrels a day, reduce their output by 1 million barrels per day to help the problem of the oversupply. And well, that certainly shone through, or has shone through, he says. And well, not so much actually yesterday. It was still the original push up there yesterday. It didn't quite do so much, but you see it did make it push into new high territory later on there. But I'm still wondering, I mean, yes, they're cutting that by that much. I'm still wondering, and I'm sort of sitting on the sidelines here thinking, well, maybe this could still roll back somewhat. There's still so much oil out there. It's a much messier chart here, not particularly clear, very whipsaw-y at the moment, and I think I'll just wait until we see a more steady trend to be jumping aboard and trading oil again. Okay, that's pretty much it there. S&Ps finally. So S&Ps, well, we're just seeing a continuation really. Yesterday pushing back up there, double topping, pulling off that double top, but the money it's still running into equities. I mean, the spending should help the US equities that Joe Biden's pushing forward there, and is possibly further increases in spending, etc., is likely to help this equity market quite a bit. Bit of a sell-off as I'm looking at this market at the moment. Just rolling back a little bit at this stage. It is close to sort of all these tops here. We're probably getting traders selling into these tops at the moment, or certainly it would appear to be. I still think these will make further new highs at some stage, and any decent retrace gives an opportunity to be looking long side on the S&Ps. So we'll move that away. Looking at the European indices here, sorry, I just moved this across here. We've got the DAX up 0.5%, the FTSE is up 0.5%. These equity markets pushing up reasonably well this morning. And just finally, just showing you the strongest and weakest currencies here. The strongest at the moment against all the majors is the US dollar. Euro is not far behind, with just a CAD in US dollar stronger at the moment. The pound sitting on the fence a little bit. Oh, there you go. So not sitting on quite so much, but the Euro CAD and US dollar stronger. But the rest, the Aussie dollar the weakest at the moment. Any New Zealand dollar, well, it's a bit more sitting on the fence. CAD getting a bit more strength back into it. So a bit of a change, but again, the yen remains pretty weak against most majors. Right, that's it for me. I wish you a great day. I will speak to you in the morning. Take care. Bye for now.